Yeah, I gotta say, man, that the more and more, and I want to make sure you guys can see me all right. Y'all there? Okay. I want to say this, man. Let me make sure we got the frame in. Yeah. The more and more that I do these debates with people in hip hop, the more and more that I see that it looks like people just have a pretty much surface level of understanding of rap music. And that's why today I thought that it would be important that we pull up some of these albums and I go with you to show you the covers on some of these albums. Now, we won't probably be able to discuss all of them, and I'm still putting the list together. But as of now, I have, I'd say, around 100 of the greatest rap albums that have ever come out of all time, is what I'm saying. And you know what was also an interesting thing? Was that I even went and asked AI, artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence pretty much said the same thing that I've been saying, that the golden era of hip hop, or when hip hop was at its peak, meaning rap music, meaning hip hop, whatever it is that you want to call it, when it was at its peak was around 99. And like I have mentioned before, when 50 Cent came out, that was when the game had changed, and that was definitely, it was before that, but that was definitely the end of the golden era of rap music. But right here, you may be wondering, what's this list that I have right here? It's a little list that popped up on Reddit of somebody put together the best rap albums of all time. But you see, I can see by this list that this is from a newer generation person. Probably somebody who hasn't been listening to rap that long. Because what I will say here is that although I do agree with some of them, like Nas, Illmatic, of course, Wu-Tang, Enter the 36 Chambers, of course, we got Big's first album, Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. I mean, that's always been mentioned in most top lists, along with Kendrick Lamar. See, now this is where I start to disagree. Not that I disagree with Kendrick Lamar, but I just don't know if I agree with Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly being in that top list. And I don't know if this is in the order or if they just did 50. But I can see so far from what I'm looking at, I think there's some already that are missing. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. Yeah, a lot of people will say that. Dr. Dre at number 7 with The Chronic, the first one. Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP. Now I think Slim Shady's a better album. Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. Okay, well, thankfully that one is on there. That's the one I was looking for. Mad Villain, MF Doom. Okay. You see, and this is the other interesting thing as I go through this list. I don't see anybody really, well, a few people that usually jump in the chats, but usually it seems like the people that want to jump on the call so much or that want to speak, they usually don't mention these albums. You'll hear people mention these albums in the comment section, but you never hear people mention these albums when they jump on a debate or a call. I never hear them say Eric B. and Rakim. Never hear them say Public Enemy. Never hear them say Wu-Tang. Maybe some here and there. It's always it's you know, we know. Let's see what this list has. This is a very interesting list though. I'm not really mad at this list. Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, coming in at number 11. NWA, Straight Outta Compton. Like I said, again, I don't know if this is the order that they put it in or if they just put this list up, but let's keep it going. Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation. Yes, I definitely agree. That's one of the best rap albums of all time. Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. That should have been up higher, like I mentioned before, above To Pimp a Butterfly. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. I mentioned this last night, that Doggy Style is Snoop Dogg's best album He doesn't have a better album than that. Outkast, Aquemini. I could kind of get with that. Jay-Z, Blueprint, first one, De La Soul. Yeah, definitely. Kanye West, College Dropout. Nah. See right there. That's where the list falls off. College Dropout. Is that what they said? Yeah, College Dropout. Let's pull that one up for reference. Hold on. College Dropout is a decent album, and let's talk about these albums because that's what we're doing here. We're talking about classic albums, and also I want to say I'm not talking about albums that sold a lot of copies, because that's the problem here, or the issue, I should say. Like when I used to work at the radio station, I remember one of the main DJs who was like running the hip hop department there. He started going back and playing a lot of old school funk and soul. And he wasn't an old dude. He was like not that much older than us. And he listened to hip hop and he definitely knew what was up with some real hip hop. Like he put me on to like hip hop I ain't never heard before. But the point that I'm making is that it kind of taught me something new that like, yeah, he said people need education. And that's what made me go back to think to myself, yeah, man, sometimes people need education because a lot of times I hear a lot of people talk as if they know about hip hop. But again, all they know is the surface level of rappers. They don't know beyond who is in the mainstream. Like all they know is all the rappers that were in the mainstream. Like every rapper that I hear, mostly everybody name, is a rapper who was signed to a major label and was getting radio play or airplay. And it's just like there's a lot of rappers out there that possibly don't really get the airplay or the radio play, but they're definitely considered rappers who have made cultural impacts in the industry. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes time for people to realize it. But it's just like, yo, man. Which brings me to Kanye West, College Dropout. Great album, man. Great album, right? This is the beginning of Kanye. This is when people were like, oh, who's this guy? Right? And he had, We Don't Care, the Lauryn Hill kind of sample that he did that everybody likes. See, now there's some songs on here that I didn't really care for. Like he had the slow jams with Jamie Foxx and Twista. I mean, that was cool. The one with Twista was definitely dope. His verse and the Jamie Foxx, you want some money? I mean, like, okay. The beat was cool. The way he chopped that up. I mean, it was dope, but it was just like, come on. He had, in Last Call, who was produced by Evidence, let's not forget, who is part of Dilated People. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't really hear people bring up groups like that, but I think they had a lot to do with Kanye's early success as well. Through the Wire, we all know that that's dope. Chaka Khan just did Colors, so shout out to her for that. And then we also had, what was it? There was another one. Oh, yeah, 2 Words, featuring Mos Def, or now known as Yasin Bey, and I believe Freeway. Interesting that they don't have Freeway on there. Now, that was a dope track. Plus, I also like the one that he had with Talib Kweli. He definitely has classics on here, but I would not put it on the list as of right there. I would not put it on the list. I would put, like, you know what's really funny? Is that they have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy on this list, and he has College Dropout above Graduation. Come on. I think we all can agree that Graduation is a much better album than College Dropout. But again, like I said, I don't know if this is the order or if they're just listing albums. Tupac, All Eyes on Me, coming in at number 20. Okay, Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links. Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders, no doubt about that. That's definitely one of the best albums of all time. That could be in the top 10. Notice how they have Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt on here, along with Outkast, Stankonia. See, that's another one. That's another red flag. I don't think that Outkast, Stankonia belongs above At the Aliens or Southern Playalistic. I believe that they already had Equimini on the list, but it doesn't go be above At the Aliens. See, incorrect list, and you know, and the reason why I know this for a fact, the reason why I can say this, is because I was around at the time when they came out. What's good, Raven Verd? I just saw the comment come up. I don't know why it didn't come up on my other screen. But what's good? You said the College Dropout is better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Pinata with Freddie Gibbs and Madlib should be in the top 25. Pinata. I mean, Madlib is definitely one of the best producers of all time. Top 25? I'm not sure about that. I would think that earlier. I would definitely have thought of that earlier. But thank you for saying what's up. Don't forget, you guys, to like this video. We're just getting started right here so we can get some more people up in here to debate. But yes, Pinata is definitely a great album. So is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and College Dropout. But I'm not sure if I can say that. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I could kind of see your point. I could maybe see your point. But I'll say this. I will say this. I think that Graduation, if we're just talking Kanye West, I think that Graduation is a better album than both College Dropout and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy put together, in my personal opinion. And I think that that's widely accepted. I mean, you know, maybe that could be another name of a series that we do. So thank you for saying that, because I have thought about comparing albums, and I know that Kanye actually does have a lot of albums out there that we could rank from, right? So, but in my personal preference, I mean, shit, I would even say Late Registration over College Dropout, possibly. Like, I think late. I mean, let's look that up real quick. What tracks were? I mean, I know some of the ones that were on there, but I know that there's probably some that I'm not always remembering right away, because Graduation's really the album that I go back to a lot. But yeah, I mean, the tracks that we had on Late Registration was Wake Up Mr. West. Heard Him Say is definitely a classic. Touch the Sky. Is that the one with Lupe Fiasco too? Gold Digger, that's kind of hot. I think Gold Digger was definitely the song that put Kanye like on the map. Like, now Kanye was kind of becoming a star now. Like, he was big when he did College Dropout, but Gold Digger took him to another level. I mean, I think that song's about Amber Rose in a way, or something like that, right? I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke nigga. Yeah, Crack Music. Come on, man. Crack Music alone. That's like better than like half the album of College Dropout. And then Celebration was pretty dope. Yeah. I mean, and then Diamonds from Sierra Leone. I hear a lot of people talk about that song too, Diamonds. Nah, man. I mean, he got some good songs on College Dropout, but nah, I think he elevated on Late Registration. I would say that Late Registration is definitely better than College, but better than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I mean, he got some bangers on My Dark Twisted Fantasy too, though. You said you think Graduation is the most consistent, but you think College Dropout is better produced. So you must like those old school samples, because I feel like on Graduation, I feel like not only did his production get better, but I feel like, and he probably was using a lot of different producers too, but I feel like the quality of the music sounded better too. Let's look up Graduation again. Now, he got some bangers on Late Registration though, for sure. Yeah, Graduation. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, Graduation is hold on. Let's check this real quick. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your comments. You know, like they say, it's all subjective. It's all music. You know what I mean? Graduation. All right, let me pull it up here. I mean, yeah, this track list, and I agree with you about Graduation being more consistent. Yeah, Champion, Good Morning, Stronger, I Wonder is a classic. Barry Bonds is a classic. Uh, Drunken Hot Girls is interesting. Flashing Lights, we all know that that's a classic. That's one of Kanye's best songs ever, best beats ever. You know, Flashing Lights goes that just goes hard at any time. It still sounds timeless today. Like, it still sounds great today. Plus, let's not forget about the T-Pain one. The one with T-Pain, right? I don't even know why it's not even showing on this list right here. But I remember that being on the album. So I mean, yeah, he got mad classics on the Graduation. Well, let's go back to the list. Funny that we don't see Graduation above that. But if you say that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I thank you again, Ranweed, for the comment. I agree with you in a way that Graduation should be higher up on this list. Whatever list this is. But you know what, though? I will say this. From what I've seen out there, this list is definitely better than, which is interesting. It's definitely better than the publications that I've seen, like Billboard Music or Pitchfork, or what's the other one? Rolling Stone. I actually feel like this list is better because it's funny how some people were just putting these names up that I'm just like, man, what the heck are they talking about? Like, they had like Lil Jon or something like that in their list or something. No disrespect to Lil Jon, he's cool, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, what? Let's see. So, where do we leave off? Yeah. Beastie Boys, interesting. Somebody did say Beastie Boys yesterday. Run DMC, definitely. Yeah, Run DMC that's a funny one too. Run DMC is one that I don't hear a lot. I don't hear people say Run DMC a lot. Which is very interesting to me. All right. Who else we got? And I just want to make sure I see everybody coming in. Mobb Deep, the Infamous. I think most people can agree that Mobb Deep Infamous is one of the classics of all time. Yeah, thank you. Get Him Easy says My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is his best album. You say it's his best? I say Graduation is his best, but Liquid Swords is definitely a top 25, maybe even top 10. I wouldn't put it as top 10, and I'll get to the top 10 in just a minute. I was just going through this list real quick, but I definitely have a list that I feel is a top 10. And like I said earlier, we already know music is subjective, right? It's subjective. So everybody's going to have their taste. But I think unanimously and the consensus, a lot of people will agree with these 10 albums as being the best hip-hop albums of all time. We're not talking about in the last, years, or the new school versus the old school like we were doing yesterday. And we can do those other talks later. But what this one's going to be about is of all time. Let's see. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about here. Of all time. So, Fugees, The Score, Boogie Down Productions, yep, Criminal Minds is definitely a classic. And that came out in 87. Don't hear enough people talk about that. And then You Were Right. Shout out to what was your name again? Shout out to Rand I can't say it. Ranverd, if I said that correctly. You're right. Liquid Swords is definitely on their list right here at number 30 coming in. So we have Liquid Swords right there. Now, we also have Dr. Dre, The Chronic 2001, Beastie Boys, okay, Kendrick Lamar. Damn, man, there's a lot of Kendrick Lamar on here. This person who made this list is clearly a Kendrick Lamar fan. You got like 3-4 Kendrick Lamar albums on here. We only got through half the list. It's got about 3 of them on here. Biggie, second album. I don't know about that one. Most Def, Black on Both Sides. Yes, definitely. Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted. Okay, that's good. You did your research. 50 Cent, Get Rich, first one. Public Enemy. Yeah, that's definitely a classic, but I feel like there's others that could be on this list. Lil Wayne, Carter 3, Outkast, Anti-Aliens. See, there's Anti-Aliens. I told you that's a classic, but that should be up a little higher. Missy Elliott. I see Missy Elliott's name's on here twice. I guess a lot of people will say Super Dufly, and it looks like this person did put it in the order. Drake, Take Care. You see, that's an issue. Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly over Drake, Take Care. I don't know about that. Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Yeah, you definitely got to have them on the list. What was it? Mecca and the Soul Brother? Definitely. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me just check one thing real quick. Yeah, Mecca and the Soul Brother definitely needs to be up there. And, you know, that's a funny thing. Or it's not really funny, but, you know, I don't really hear Pete Rock's name get mentioned enough. I mean, I guess I do as far as one of the best producers of all time. He's not really a rapper, even though he raps here and there, but it's just like, yo, man, Pete Rock, not only this, with CL Smooth, which is definitely a classic, but not only that, he's like just put out some classic albums with other rappers too. Like, what was it? The Soul Brothers, something like that. Like he did the other one with the afro on the cover. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that. Like Pete Rock, man, he got classics. Not to mention, what is it? And we're going to get into some of the Wu-Tang ones, too. Like, I haven't even seen... Was Raekwon only built for Cuban Links on this list? Hold on. Let's make sure of that. Was it? I thought we saw it. I mean, oh, yeah. Okay, here it is right here. Ugh. I was about to say. You see, there's just certain albums that need to be mentioned. And if they're not mentioned, then you don't know what's up with hip hop. I think that's safe to say. You know, like there's certain albums that people can miss. Certain albums people could be like, oh, yeah. What was that one? Or who was that rapper again? Or I forgot who that was. Yeah, there's certain rappers that we can miss sometimes. Or albums. But there's just certain albums that you have to definitely say is the top 25 albums of all time. And this right here, this list looks like it's 50. Looks like we got a 50. Okay. So, speaking of which, here we go. Ice Cube, third album, LL Cool J, first album, Kanye West, Late Registration. See, look, we got 3 Kanye West albums on here. You see, like my list, and thank you for the likes coming in. My list, I don't think that I really have this many albums by the same artist on the list. You know what I mean? That's why, like, it's like you can definitely tell that whoever made this list has certain rappers that they're fans of, and they just like went through and picked 2 or 3 of their albums. Like I can give you a different 50 right now. That's completely, I feel, way more strategic than this. And even to clarify, I even used AI's suggestion, ChatGPT. I used ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was even telling me that the albums that I already knew were the best were saying that these are the best albums. You said at 21 it is. What's 21? At 21, what is? Or let me make sure. All right, I want to make sure that these Chats were coming in right. Make sure I can see y'all, so I can do this. All right. Yeah. What do you mean? At the 21. What's the 21 that you're talking about? And let me grab this one thing real quick. Give me 1 second, y'all. And I'm going to pull up my list too, because I think that this list is cool, but there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's missing on this list. Like always. But as I've mentioned earlier, I think that at least this list is better than people that claim to be music journalists for a living, for like a major profession. Run DMC, we got their next album. We got Kanye West, Graduation. Okay. So like I said, 3-4 Kanye West albums, 3 or 4 Kendrick albums. Slick Rick, you definitely got to put that one on the list. And then Missy Elliott again. Yeah. So you could have, like, if they like MF Doom, definitely Mad Villain is a great one, but they could have put MF Doom, MM Food. That's a classic. I'm not sure if, looking back at my notes, yeah, all those albums were on the list. So you see what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain albums where you have to unanimously agree. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Thank you for the likes coming in, though. I really appreciate y'all, man. You know, like I said, we were going to jump on here and do... This is going to be more of an educational speech. Before you were talking about Raekwon's album. Yeah, man. Only Built for Cuban Links, which also got 5 mics in the source. Classic, man. I was just making sure that it was on this list because it looked like it was missing. But let me pull up my list, especially that we're in the first 30 minutes of the show. Thank you guys for the likes coming in. Please, on YouTube as well, man, tell me who you guys are feeling. But yeah, man, thank y'all for coming in on TikTok. What's going on here? All right. So let me pull up the list that I have of the top 10 rappers, or top 10 albums, I should say. Keep in mind, albums and rappers are like two different things, because I have rappers that are like my favorite rappers, but they might not have put out the best albums. And you know what's so funny, speaking of which, or it's not funny, but as I go through this list, I don't see Gang Starr on this list. Like, how are you going to go through a list and not have Gang Starr? You know, Hard to Earn is a classic album. You see, and that's why I said, man, we might have to go through some educational purposes, because some people just don't seem to get it. Like, let's pull it up right here, man. Hard to Earn. I mean, they had a couple of dope ones, but like this album right here alone is one of the greatest rap albums of all time. How is this not on here? Code of the Streets. You know what I also love about this album is that if I pull it down even more, look at this. They got Suckers Need Bodyguards. That was one of my favorite songs by Gang Starr. Suckers Need Bodyguards. Making fun of all the rappers that talk like they're all tough. Keep in mind, this album came out in, I believe, 95. Something like that. Let's see. 94, actually. Woo! Golden era of hip-hop. Do you see what I'm saying? Code of the Streets. We have songs that, like, kind of teach you about the code of the streets and what we're supposed to be aware of. You see, that's the other problem, is that now we have rappers that don't even talk about the code of the streets anymore. There is no code. Right? What people do is they just run a fool now. Like, even one of the kids that was on the stream yesterday said that. He was like, man, they just like craziness. They just like wild stuff. And I mean, that's cool. Like, they said it like they like it. They think it's cool. But still, man, we got to be real. It's like a lot of these rappers out here, they ain't talking about nothing, as we already know. But you could just look at these track titles right here if you're able to see this. And you can see right here for yourself that we used to make fun of rappers who would act tough in the studio. You know, like they say, studio gangsters. They would act tough in the studio and then need to walk around with bodyguards. That wasn't cool to do in the golden era. But now we have all these rappers who act tough and act hard and say, if you try, like, I could do this to you, I'll do that to you. And then they walk around with bodyguards all day. And it's like, yo, man, there's nothing wrong with walking around with your bodyguards. Cool. Walk around with your security. Do what you got to do. But don't be acting all tough in the studio and then you got to have security around you all the time. Just don't talk trash in your music. And you won't have to worry about that. Now, if you're really about that, then go ahead and talk trash about it in your music. But I'm just saying, as you can see right here from these songs and these song titles that are also from a classic album, we can see that it was not cool back in the days to have bodyguards. I hate fake MCs. They always act hard, but can't walk the streets without their bodyguards. Yo, one of the dopest hip-hop tracks ever. I suggest you guys go and listen to that if you haven't heard it yet. Yeah, crazy. That Hard to Earn, I don't really hear on lists. Now, I'm not saying that this album has to be in the top 10 rap albums of all time. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, though, is that I think it could definitely be in the top. It could definitely be in the top 25 greatest rap albums of all time. Definitely 25, possibly even 20. I mean, because let's not also see, when I look at albums, I'm not just looking at the raps. I'm also looking at the production, the packaging, and as I've mentioned before, I'm also looking at what kind of technology they were able to have access to at the time. You know, like they didn't have all the computers and laptops and drum machines and programs that you can use, that you can like easily make beats on your phone now. We didn't even have cell phones then. Okay? So you have to give also some credit to the technology that was available to these producers at the time. And then you can even go through our top 10 list of all the greatest producers of all time. And DJ Premier is one of our biggest performing videos of his top 10 beats. And also one of the major producers that we get one of the most requests to do a part 2 of. And more. So those of us that understand real hip hop, we all know that DJ Premier, Primo, whatever you want to call him, he's definitely one of the greatest producers of all time. Not to mention also DJs on the scratching. Crazy how I don't hear their name enough. If I heard their names more often, I probably would be more like, okay, this person knows who they're talking about. As a matter of fact, you know, sometimes I have these calls or these debates, right? And I'll have people request to come up, or people that want to request to come up. We're going to have to start doing quizzes. Because it's like, if there's certain rappers or albums that you don't know, then you really can't speak on hip hop. Now, I understand. What's important to people is what they grew up listening to. I understand that. But there also comes a time where you have to go and do your research. And you see, that's the problem with a lot of the generation of what we were talking about today. they don't really go back and do their research. Like, for instance, all the albums that are on this list right here, for the most part, are all mainstream albums. Even though some of them are somewhat underground, all of these cats, for the most part, were signed to major labels. You see, that's something that we have to also consider and look at. Did you ever listen to hip hop that was signed to independent labels? I mean, yeah, you got MF Doom on here, Mad Villain. I mean, that was on an indie label, Stone's Throw. But it's like, out of all these albums, you got like maybe like one or two who were on indie labels. But even then, they were kind of major indie labels. You know, like Ruckus was kind of big. Stone's Throw was definitely big. Okay? Not even sure if you got Def Jux up in here. You see, you know, you definitely don't have Duck Down up in here. See, that's another group that's missing here. See, like, that's why I got, listen, let me make my own list. Let me make my own list right now, because I might forget some of these. Boot Camp Click. You see what I'm saying? Like, how is Boot Camp Click? Now, I don't know if we're talking about best rappers of all time or best groups. I think Boot Camp Click definitely has a classic album in there somewhere. Black Moon for sure. I don't think I see Black Moon in this list. Into the Stage. I don't see the Far Side, even though whatever with them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they cool. Some of them are, but I used to work with them dudes. I don't really work with them anymore. But still, like, Far Side kind of is a group that we would have to mention too. I think they had some albums that were classics. Also, who else? Souls of Mischief, Hieroglyphics, definitely Souls of Mischief, Dale the Homo Sapien. See, I'm just pulling off names off the top of my head. I'm not even really going deep and saying like, okay, yeah, like Freestyle Fellowship and all this other stuff, you know. But definitely, you see, in a lot of these cats that I'm naming, didn't see Big L on here, but I don't know. Maybe they don't think he has a classic album. You're right. He could probably fall more into the category of rappers. But Black Moon definitely put out a classic. Dale the Homo Sapien definitely put out a classic. I believe Boot Camp Click put out a classic. I believe Smith & Wesson put out a classic. I believe, and these were all indie labels too. You see that a lot of people forget about. Company Flow was definitely doing their thing. Camp Lo had some classics, and they were signed to a major. You see, a lot of these cats don't know how to go deep into this music. Yeah, they really don't know. And I'm making my little list right here too. I mean, I already got a list pulled up over here. I just know that there may be some names that need to be entered in here. But I guess we're going through albums. Maybe I'll save my all-time classic masterpieces for another day. We can maybe do that stream on the tomorrow stream. But let me go ahead and say this. Here's some of the names that I'd like to mention. Or the albums, I should say, right? I keep, albums, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this one. Let's do this. You're right. I'm going to shout you out. Let me make sure I got your name right. Ranverd. I'm going to shout you out, and I'm going to go ahead and say I agree with you on this one. Which will be Liquid Swords. Okay? We're going to go ahead and put Liquid Swords. And this could be just a top 10 of the essentials. Okay? Top 10 of the essentials. All right? So, this isn't necessarily like by the year, which is what I really want to do. But I'm just saying, like, for today, albums that don't get mentioned enough. This isn't necessarily the top 10 greatest albums of all time, but they could fall more into the category of, let's say, let's say definitely up to like 10 to 30. Let's say 10 to 30. Yeah. Some I'm looking at the list that was provided to me that I did with other people that helped out. I would put Raekwon over NWA Straight Outta Compton. That was in the all-time masterpieces. But let's go ahead and say Jizza, Liquid Swords. That could be coming in at number, maybe that would be more like a number one. That would be more like a number one. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do 20 going down. I'm going to go ahead and go with Main Source. Yeah, let me go ahead and make my list. I'm going to go ahead and go with Main Source, Breaking Atoms. Definitely this one. I bet a lot of y'all don't even know what this album is or even remember hearing about it. But like I said, this right here, this stream right here is going to be for educational purposes. And I'm doing like a 20 countdown. So at 20 and then, you know, I'll do the top 10 later. This isn't the top 10. This is just a 20 to down to number 1. But to make it easier, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should start off with it at 20. To make it easier for you guys. Because I want you guys to make sure that you understand what it is that we're doing here. Because this isn't a top 10. I don't want people saying, wait, that's in your top 10? No, that's not what I'm saying. But we'll just say, again, essential classics. So Main Source, which is what you see right here, this should definitely be on a list that I don't hear enough of. And I understand why. Because a lot of people don't know about Main Source, or their hip-hop knowledge doesn't go that far back. And again, we're not talking about album sales. Okay? Even though album sales is somewhat influential on this list, we're not really necessarily speaking about album sales. What we're speaking about here, keep in mind, is cultural impact. Albums that help shape the future and the culture of rap music. That's what we're talking about here. All right. Next, after Main Source, yeah, I did say, you know, maybe before I put them in there, yeah, I did say Far Side. So we could definitely say Far Side, Bizarre Ride to the Far Side. Even though Lab Cabin was definitely the beginning of bringing out Dilla. But yes, I definitely feel that this could be at number 19. This could definitely be at number 19. All right. 18, I would probably have to go with... Ugh. Yeah, now that could be up a little bit higher. See, some of these are off. I don't even think that some of these are on point. Yeah. People forget about this one right here. I was going to go with J. Rue the Damager, but I think, yeah. Man, this list is like all over the place. Some of it's my list. Some of it's ChatGPT. Some of it's what other people have said. But I'm editing it as if I'm with you guys right now. Because like I said, man, some of you guys don't even know these albums. The Sun Rises in the East. What do y'all know about this one, man? This album was such a classic when it came out. It was such a classic, man. Like, I remember having this album on cassette tape. It was such a classic, man. And yeah, Now that I think about it, yeah, man, that should definitely be right there. Again, DJ Premier in his prime, dope beats. What year was this? 94. Like, man, am I not taking y'all back through hip-hop history or what, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm talking about here, man. J. Rue the Damager. Sun rises in the east. All right? All right? Let's keep it going. Let's see. What would I put at number 17? 17 for my list. I think I'm gonna go with I think I'm gonna go. I was gonna say Lauryn Hill, but nah, I think she needs to be up a little bit higher. And then we also got the Fugees up in here too. I don't even think I would do that. Yeah, you know what? I probably will put a Tribe album in there somewhere. I probably will put a Tribe, but you know what? Before Tribe, I'm gonna go ahead and put De La Soul. Yeah, De La Soul, for sure. 3 Feet High and Rising. Let's go and pull that one up so you guys can see. And I'm pulling up the album covers for reference because I think that you guys really need to start knowing like what these albums look like and what they represented and what the album covers were, so you could go find them and do research for yourself. Funny how a lot of times I don't hear these albums get mentioned enough, and that's what we're basically talking about here, y'all. I'm not necessarily talking about the greatest album. These are the greatest albums of all time. This is my list after the top 10. That's why this list is so important. This is a list after the top 10 greatest rap albums of all time. Notice how we don't have any Lil Wayne up here yet. Or will we? Notice how there's no Future or Playboi Carti. They can't even compete with these albums. That is what I'm trying to tell y'all. These albums are timeless still to this day. They're still considered one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. All right, so we got that one on the list, right? Next, I will probably have to put on my list after this. Yeah, we could go with Tribe. Let's go with Tribe. Midnight Marauders, and that will be coming in at number 16. Classic album, no skips. I remember when this came out, it was really sounding good in the car too. Like I remember, like we would play other like when this album dropped, this was kind of at the beginning of when CDs were starting to become a thing. I remember. So it's like 93. I mean, I remember we had it on tape too. But man, what a classic album, man. Not to mention how they went and put all the classic rappers of all time on the album cover. See if we can pull the image up that's like big enough. The cover artwork, like if you guys can see this right here, I'm gonna go ahead and read this right here. But yeah, it says right here, the cover artwork, and I'll try to pull up the image later where you guys can see it. Well, that depicts a woman in the paint. But let's see. But the complete list of artists follows. And, we don't have to get all over the names. But the particular album cover had, like, all the classic rappers. Like, the head of all the rappers out here that everybody knows. There you go. And it's like, what a dope way to pay homage. So if you go back and you look at this album cover, pretty much this album cover right here is going to tell you who all the dopest rappers are of all time and who to look out for and who you should be listening to. It's all pretty much right here on this list. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's dope that they took the time to pay homage like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not too many people are doing that. You see, and that was just kind of the difference back then, man. Back then, rappers used to want more so to pay homage to the people that came before them and the people that were dropping their rap albums before them. Nowadays with this generation, and, you know, that's a whole nother discussion, but nowadays with this generation, they've been taught to not go back and do their research. And you know why that is? I know why that is. The reason why is because the record industry, which is now, it's always been a big business, but now they've turned hip hop into more of like a commodity, or more like just a piece of manufactured product that they just want to sell and they want to push and they want to get people buying. That's what hip hop is now turned into. Okay? And before then, whereas I'm mentioning these albums right here, this was the time when hip hop was still in a young form. Okay? It was still in a young form. Is that the homie? Right over there. Yeah, hip hop was still in its young form. It wasn't really fully in its pure essence yet. So we were still figuring it out. You feel what I'm saying? We were still figuring out the hip hop. And of course, the record companies were figuring it out too. But now, like I said, man, it's become like this fast food thing that now you've been taught to not care about the ancestors or the people that came before you or the rappers that were doing it before you. You know why? Because possibly if a lot of these rappers actually took the time to go back and do their research, if they took the time to go back and do their research, they probably would be stunned. They probably would be like, oh man, like what were these rappers talking about back then? They were already warning you. You feel what I'm saying? 15 that I have. And I'm going to continue the rest of the list on another stream. I just want to get through this list right here. But 15, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say this is where I would bring in Gangstar, Hard to Earn. Even though on this list, according to Google and some others, they have Daily Operation on here, which is also definitely a classic. But in my personal opinion, I think Hard to Earn actually showed more growth and you know, just more charisma. And like I said, it's the full package. It's not just the raps, it's also the production, the beats, the quality of the music, the technology. Premier was also a genius at this time, man, and just both of them together, great team. This album needs to be mentioned more in one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time, definitely top 25, and it definitely established DJ Premier as a real producer. Not to mention they had a really dope logo too. All right, next let's go with, yeah, you know what, I think I'm gonna go with Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Classic album, Snoop Dogg's best album. I know people want to mention all these other albums that Snoop dropped, like the one that he did on No Limit. Can we be honest? It was alright. That's why when you see Snoop Dogg and you see the Dog Pound and you see other people walking around with the jackets on, what does the jacket say? Doggy Style. What's the imprint on the jacket? The Doggy Style album cover. How many people have I seen wearing this? You know what I mean? How many people have I seen wearing the doggy style jackets? Yeah, man. What a classic. You can buy the CD right now for $30. All right? But it's interesting how it says produced by Dr. Dre. And now we have Daz coming out saying that Dr. Dre didn't even make any of the beats on this album. Isn't that interesting? Now that we have that. Interesting, right? Classic album, though. So, yeah, I definitely have that there. 13. Let me see what the next one is that we have. And I think on the next one, I'm going to definitely do a ranking. But with your guys' help, will definitely be great to do the ranking. Now we're getting down to like the top 10. But keep in mind, again, this is the top 10 of essential albums. This isn't the top 10 all-time masterpieces. I'm doing different sections of lists of the greatest rap albums of all time, to where I can get it to 100. So hopefully you guys can participate with me onto this journey, right? So now what I'm going to do, and let me change that title too. Top 10 classics, but you know what I'm going to do? Let me update that title to top 100 classics. All right. Now we're back at number 13. For number 13, I'm going to go with The Roots. Yes, I'm going to go with The Roots. I mean, you can't really go wrong now. Like the numbers that we're getting into now, the top 13 and all that. Like we can't go wrong with it now. Pretty much any album we choose is going to be great. The Roots, Things Fall Apart. What y'all know about this? And not only that, what y'all know that Black Thought is one of the greatest rappers of all time? I don't hear that enough. That's what's so surprising to me, is that I do not hear enough people talk about Black Thought. Let's also not mention that this album also won a Grammy. Let's see. It won the Grammy for... What did it win the Grammy for? I know it won a Grammy, but which category? See if they can pull it up real quick. Best rap performance by a duo group. That's right. They won for the song featuring Erykah Badu, You Got Me. And you guys want to know another factor about that a lot of people don't know? It's actually on our top 10 series. Is that Scott Storch is actually the one that did the beat for that. People forget that Scott Storch used to be in The Roots and that he produced a few tracks on this album. But I think the main one that he produced was You Got Me. See? Like I said, man, I don't hear these albums getting mentioned enough. I mean, am I not breaking down this list or what, man? Like, give me some props for that, man. Like, I must be breaking down this list. Give me some props, man. I don't hear anybody talking like this, man. You know what I mean? I don't hear anybody breaking down lists like this or mentioning these albums. Like I said, man, I mean, you know, I'm kind of editing the list as I'm going with you guys, but I'm going to do a more thorough, concrete list. I'm kind of just putting my order together right now. And then we're going to do a finalized list. And we're going to do this all on a stream. And I'm definitely down to take some of your guys' input. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, man. And like I said, man, a lot of these albums get overlooked. You know what I mean? Like we don't hear these albums getting mentioned enough. Let's continue. And look at this album cover too. I mean, what a powerful image of the album cover. Yeah, The Roots, Things Fall Apart, definitely got to be up in this list of the essential albums. Great hip hop albums that don't get mentioned enough. What else do we have? Let's go ahead and go with number 12. We're going to go with Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded. I think we're about ready to bring that in here, right? Boogie Down Productions, Criminal Minded, man. What are they saying about this? What are they saying about this, man? I haven't heard enough talk about this album, KRS-One. Yo, one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Not to mention that it came out in 87. You see, again, we're not talking about record sales. You want to talk about record sales, you go and you listen to those other streamers. What we're talking about are albums that had the most cultural impact. That's what we're talking about here, man. The songs that made people think. South Bronx, the South Bronx, The Bridge is Over, The Bridge is Over. I mean, there's so many classics on here, man. There's so many classics on here. Yeah, man. Yeah. I just wanted to see B-Boy. Like we don't even know what label that this was on or who did the distribution for this. You see, that's what I'm saying, man. It goes back to the point again that I need to make, is that a lot of these people that talk about these rap albums or talk as if they know hip hop, you could tell the majority of them just started listening to rap about a few years ago. And they don't know the rap albums that came out that maybe didn't get the mainstream push that all these other rap albums got. You gotta do your research, man, and look beneath the surface. All right. Here's one that was in the essential list, but I don't agree that it should be in the essential list. But I definitely, or in the all-time masterpiece list, I should say. I don't agree that it should be in the all-time masterpiece, but it should definitely be in the essentials list. Or shall I say essential classics. And let me make sure I make a note of this. Yeah. In the essential classics, I'm going to go ahead and go with number 11 that I don't hear get mentioned enough, which came out in 95, one of the best years in hip-hop. We can look at all the albums that came out then, all classics, such as Tupac, Me Against the World. This is Tupac's best album. This is definite, and even ChatGPT said that they believe that this album should be in the top 10. I don't know if it goes into my top 10, but it definitely goes into the top 30 list. And let me rephrase that. We could actually say 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, top 25. Top 25 for sure. Yeah, we got 25 right here for show. Okay? And you know what? Yeah, let me go ahead and change these numbers. Cuz since we're doing 30. So that would be all the way down to 27, 26, 25. All right. Yeah, so let's just do it like this. So we'll have this album right here coming in at number 21 on the list. So yes, I'm happy to say, just so I can know like what's the top 25, because I know people will always say, oh, well, what's the greatest, top 25 hip hop albums of all time? Everybody always asks that question. So I'm happy to say for my list, for the beatGrade list, Tupac, Me Against the World, definitely makes it into the top 25 for our list. And I'm happy to say that because it definitely needs to be up there. You know, people always put like All Eyes on Me or something like that. And it's like, I really don't think that that's Tupac's best album, along with the fact that even AI is saying that they also agree that Me Against the World is better than All Eyes on Me. All right. So yeah, Tupac, we got this album right here, great album. I believe it was the second sophomore album, coming in at number 21. And let's just fact check that real quick. Let's fact check that. Actually, it's his third album. It was his third studio album. Man. What a time, man. What a time. I told y'all, man, 95 was a year, man. We might need to do an episode just on all the hip hop albums that came out in 95. We might need to do an episode just on that, because I'm telling you right now, man, all the albums that came out in 95, 96 is like, I guess as some people would say, bananas. All right. So, moving on. 20. Let's go. Number 20. We're going to go ahead and have to say... And let me make sure we got it right. Yeah. Yeah. So far, we got Main Source, Far Side. You know, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, since I'm doing a 30, I think I might have to take out Far Side. That album might be in the top 50 now that I think about it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to replace that one. That one might be well, you know what? We'll leave it there for now and we'll go back over the list, but I think that one might have to change. Because now that I think about it, I know that there's got to be some other albums that are definitely in the top 30. But yeah, J. Rue the Damager, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Gangstar, Snoop Dogg, The Roots, Boogie Down Productions, Tupac. Oh, man, I'm liking this list. I am liking this list, man. Like... Woo, yeah, they're tripping on some of these on some of these that they have here too. Like that one can get replaced for sure, and then that one can get replaced. All right, so next I'm going to go with I think the Fugees, The Score. That one needs to be up in here now. That's what I'm feeling right now. Yeah, we're going to go with the Fugees, The Score, at number 20. And like I said, we need to pull up the album for references, because some people don't know what the album cover looks like or don't know what it is. And as I mentioned before, a lot of these albums get overlooked. What I should call this is the essential overlooked classics. Yeah, let's update that to the overlooked classics. The Fugees, The Score, coming in at number 20, man, which also won Grammys. Such a big album. And not too many people were doing successful groups where you had two men, where it was really Wyclef, but then also a female rapper by the name of Lauryn Hill. Didn't Praz just have to turn himself in to the authorities for doing some kind of weird politician scam to do it on the right, for those of you that don't know. And they said that he was like influencing to help with Obama winning the election. That was like nearly $500 million. But, we'll save that for another stream. We don't have to get all political. Let's not get political. But y'all should look that up, man. I saw that come up on some news about Praz from the Fugees having to turn himself in. Like, he is currently, I believe, incarcerated. And what he is incarcerated for is crazy. Like, we're talking millions and upon millions and millions of dollars, and crooked politicians that could be involved in this. And regular politicians, but also crooked ones too as well. But nonetheless, the Fugees are definitely a group that we need to take note of. I would definitely put them on this list. Top 30 albums, definitely overlooked, essential, classic. Next. Let's see what we have here. Next on the list, I will probably have to put, let's go with it. Next on the list, I think that one maybe can come a little bit later. That one could go, I think now, before we get crazy, because like I feel like this can go in a lot of different directions here. This can go in a lot of different directions. I can't stand the title of this album, but it definitely needs to be in the top 30. And this is the Ice Cube. We can't say certain words on TikTok, so I'll just say the Ice Cube certificate. But here's the album cover right here. Albums that you need to know about. But basically he's talking about, Uncle Sam. Certain things we can't really say. But probably definitely one of the most political albums of all time, right? Probably one of the most political albums of all time that came out. Political rap albums, and just the beats on here, phenomenal. Like probably one of Ice Cube's best albums next to America's Most Wanted. But I'm thinking that America's Most Wanted, I would definitely put here. But I almost feel like that could be in the top 10. Let me just double check my top 10 list. Yeah. Maybe. That's going to get replaced. Reasonable Doubt should be in the top 10 list. I'll give you guys that hint. I mean, those of y'all that have listened to my streams have definitely admitted to that. You know what? You're right. This is definitely up there. But since we're going top 30, you know what? Let's go ahead and switch that. This one's going to come a little bit later on, which is still, don't get me wrong, one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. I mean, this was the album that he checked MC Hammer on. But we're going to go with this Ice Cube one instead. We're going to go with America's Most Wanted. We're going to come back to the certificate later. Yeah, we're going to go Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, which was also a very, very political album. Probably the most political, spelled with the 3 Ks. America spelled with 3 Ks. Funny how I don't hear this album get mentioned a lot. But you know what, though? The one good thing I will say is that I do hear a lot of people say that Ice Cube is one of their favorite rappers of all time. And you see, and I never really thought that NWA or Ice Cube was not also political. Even though they talk about NWA being gangster rap, I think NWA was also a different type of rap. They were a different type of rap. They weren't just necessarily gangster rap. Or shall I say, like, they were a different type of gangster rap. They were like a political gangster rap. Talking about what was going on with police brutality and all those kinds of things and the government and things that we needed to know about. So yeah, I don't really consider them just gangster rappers. But yeah, man, Ice Cube was definitely very political. Remember they used to have the 1-900 numbers? No, some of y'all probably don't. Ice Cube, man, classic. So yeah, we're gonna come in with America's Most Wanted at 19, and then let's go, man. I feel like okay, I'm getting excited here, man. I'm actually getting to the list of where we're getting to like the best of the best. This is the list before the top 10. All right. All right. Let's go. And let's make sure we didn't miss any here. Where we at here? Number 18. I think I'm gonna go with man, I feel like it could come later on. Like it could definitely go later on. Let me make sure we got 20. Yeah. I feel like this one can come later on down the road, but yeah, like there's some other classics here that we're forgetting. There's definitely some other classics that they're forgetting up in here that needs to be in here. I think I'm gonna go with it's funny, I just saw him perform today or online, but I think it was still dope. I think we're gonna go with Most Def. That's probably one that definitely needs to be up there. Will we say top 30? Will we say top 30? Top 30 albums of all time? Will we say that? I mean, I don't like to be like that one list where I have too many of the same rappers and too many of the same groups, because we're really looking at albums, and I don't like to be, that person who puts all of these same, like, oh, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Notice how when I'm going through this list too, and I'm even, like I said, man, I'm looking at AI and what's online, is I haven't come across Drake or Kendrick Lamar yet. But I understand the game needs to promote rappers to make them famous, right? Yeah. I think actually this could be one that we actually really need to look at. I know that there's one that I'm missing, man. Like there's one that definitely needs to be on here. I know that there's one. I just want to make sure that I hit it right. Like cuz I see Most Def. I'm thinking Black Star. I'm definitely leaning to Black Star. Uh yeah. Yeah, I definitely am leaning to that. But you know what I think I'm going to do? Yeah. I think this has to go up on the list right here. This is just what my instincts are telling me that this one needs to come next. Black Star, Talib Kweli, and Most Def coming in at number 18. Top 25 albums of all time. That's where we're at right now, y'all. We're in the top 25 list. And Most Def and Kweli are doing a heck of a campaign right now. And dang, how crazy is this, man? Like, it's crazy when you look at some of these images. It's like Kweli looks so different now. Most almost looks kind of the same, but Kweli looks a little different. But yeah, definitely Black Star, which I think we saw on this Reddit list, right? I think we did. I mean, and then we could read what people are saying in the comments, but I mean, Black Star is definitely look, yeah. See, so it's in the comments. Yeah, see, they said no Black Star is another omission. Exactly. So this list is missing a lot of classics. But yeah, guess what? They put Missy Elliott, Super Duper Fly up in there, but forgot Mos Def and Talib Kweli Black Star. Let's not even mention Sound Bombing. Like, Sound Bombing needs an honorable mention somewhere, right? Let me make sure I make a note of that. Put that in my notes. Sound Bombing. Haven't really heard too many people mention that, which also had Eminem on it too as well. Woo, man, these lists, man, I gotta tell you, they're kind of difficult to do sometimes because so many people are forgetting so many classics. But what I'm doing right here is doing a service to make sure that we do not forget major classics. All right, so the next one that I'm gonna go ahead and go with. Let me make sure I pull this up correctly. Now, I'm starting to see other ones that should be up in here. This should probably be in the top 10. I don't know why that one is down so low. But you know what? You know which one I'm going to put in here that probably needs an honorable mention that a lot of people are forgetting? Is, here, let me make sure I put one in here that a lot of people might be forgetting. I'm going to go with, let's see. That's definitely in the top 10, no doubt. I'm almost thinking like, nah, not a Criminal needs to be up in there. But like technically Mos Def could come after that. Oh, that's a tough one too, man. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one. Can't believe that this doesn't get mentioned more, but now I'm so happy that I'm doing this list. I'm going to come in with 17. Smith & Wesson, The Shining. Let's pull that up right here. Smith & Wesson, The Shining. Man, what a classic album. And it's like, I remember hearing this back in the days, and there was just like no skips on this album. No skips whatsoever on this album, man. So, yeah, definitely in the top 25 for sure. Duck Down at its best too at the time. So surprised that I haven't heard anybody see, and that's what I'm saying, man. A lot of these cats, they don't go back and listen to real hip hop. They don't know about this real hip hop, man. You know, so it's just like, yeah, man. People don't even mention these rappers. But yes, The Shining is definitely one. Okay? That we need to take note of, that needs to be mentioned more. There's some other albums, too, that came out from Duck Down that we can mention, but we'll get into those ones maybe a little bit later. But right now, like I said, man, we are actually almost down to the 25. And then after that, we'll save the next episode for we'll do after that to the next 50. Because everybody has their top 10, but I want to make sure that I go through all the overlooked essential classic hip-hop albums, like I said before, to make sure that we cover all the angles, to make sure that, oh no, that album belongs in the top 10. Because I definitely have seen some albums that are like listed at number 20 or 30, and I'm like, nah, that's a top 10 album. Or that's definitely closer to a top 10 album. Like, for instance, I see Redman Muddy Waters in here. And yes, while that could be a top 50 album, I don't think so. I think Redman had better albums than that. He had better albums than that. I think There's a Dark Side is a better album than that. Let me see. And that's what I think we're going to go with next. Yeah, that's what I think we're going to go with next. I mean, look at this, man. Rappers who never talked about their money or talked about, you know, what the first Redman album, I mean, I think the first Redman album is better than Muddy Waters. What the album? But like I said, should we have too many of the same rapper in the same section? I don't know. I kind of want to split it up a little bit more. Yeah, definitely. Let's go with EPMD, Strictly Business. I think we need to go with that one, right? Let's go with that one next. That should be top 25. EPMD, Strictly Business. Here we are. We're getting closer now. Number 15. Number 15. Yeah, some of these rappers put out great albums where we're gonna probably have to put two of their albums in these lists. And you know what I'm feeling right now? You know which one's coming to mind? Let's go ahead and go with Outkast. I believe that's one that's coming to mind. 96 too, heck of a year in hip hop. But guess which album we're gonna go with Outkast on? We're gonna go ahead and go next with Outkast, Anti-Aliens. I mean, the good thing is that I do hear a lot of people say that Andre 3000 is one of their favorite rappers. So now we're getting to the nitty gritty, man. Almost at the top 10 of the essential albums again. The top 10 of the essential. 1 through 30. So these are like the top 30 essential overlooked hip hop albums. But yes, I have Outkast, Anti-Aliens coming in at number 15. At number 14, we're going to go with, like I said, man, kind of interesting how I don't hear a lot of people mention these albums. But number 14, I think we can go ahead and do Redman. Yeah, I think that this one could come up. Now, with Redman, the interesting thing is that it could be his first album or There Is a Dark Side. It's definitely one of those two albums. But you know what, though? I'm going to go ahead and say that I feel that There Is a Dark Side, there was a growth on that album. You know, like he came with it more. There's a Dark Side came out in 92. And he was already signed to Def Jam, Russell Simmons. But then you also had 94. And let me see. Did Redman drop in 93? Let's see real quick. You see, and it's funny how we have Muddy Waters come up. Muddy Waters came out way after all these. Came out in 96. That was like a newer Redman album. Let's see. He didn't release an album in 93. So like I said, There's a Dark Side is definitely, I think it was his second album, but definitely one of his best albums. And look, I don't even know if that even came up on my list. Let me just make sure if it's on my list or not. Because usually these songs are on the list, you see, but sometimes I'm going to have to use brain power and find it myself. See, well, they have What The album from 70 to 90. Interesting. Man, listen, Eric Sermon did a lot of the production on this album. Look, producers Eric Sermon and Redman did some of the production on this album. And I think that not only, like I said, man, when we look at the album, we also got to look at the production. I feel that some of the tracks on here are some of Eric Sermon's best beats. All right? Like, these are some of Eric Sermon's best beats. So the fact that, you know, like I said, man, the people who make these lists sometimes, they just don't even know, like, about production or hip hop or producers. But like I said, man, yeah, not only is this, I think, one of Redman's best albums, it's also Eric Sermon's best beat. So yeah, this needs to be on the list. Top 30 albums of all time, no doubt. Yeah, Redman coming in at number 14. Here we go. Top 13. Top 13. Whew, man, there's some classics on here, man. There's some classics. Some real classics on here, man. It's gonna be tough to do some of these, man. But you know what I'm gonna go ahead and say? I'm gonna go ahead and say OC Word Life. Yeah, this is what I said the other day, yesterday. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. And interesting how some people don't even know OC or know anything about this album. And another reason why I say this album definitely has to be up here is because this album, I feel, was ahead of its time. Like when he did Time's Up, that's what the whole song was about. The whole song was about rap music selling out, and that the rap industry was now being controlled by the music industry and infiltrated by the music industry. This album was, of course, ahead of its time, not to mention that one of the beats, the classic beat Time's Up that's on this album, which still holds up to this day, was used in the battle scene in 8 Mile. Yeah, man, 94 was when this album was released. You know, yeah, Time's Up. I wish I could play some of it too, but I don't want to, you know, get the copyright. But yeah, man, this is probably like one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. I mean, obviously it is. That's why we're doing it on the list, right? But man, the production, everything on that, crazy. All right, and I'm glad that we have that there. See, we're getting, like I said, man, we're getting to the nitty gritty now. We're getting to the nitty gritty now. Whew. OC, Word Life, Time's Up. And you know what I'm going to have to go with next? I'm going to have to go with Cypress Hill next. I was thinking of them earlier, but they're definitely up here. So, and I think it's self-titled, the first album. Cypress Hill self-titled album. I think the album cover was like a red album cover or something like that, or this one. Yeah. The first album by Cypress Hill. Shout out to Muggs. Some of Muggs' best beats right here, man. Heard a couple people say this. I heard a couple people mention Cypress Hill. But, yeah. This first album, and it's funny too, man, because I see Black Sunday on here, which is also a classic. They got other ones, Temple of Boom and all that stuff. But I really feel like their first album, just, man, Stoned is the way of the walk, and all these other ones, and how I could just, you know, I can't probably say all the words, but you know what I'm saying, man. All of those songs, classic. Like, that's, see, now we're getting into, like, the top 10 albums before the greatest top 10 albums of all time. So we're getting into, like, the top 20. So really, when we say that now, we have to realize that these albums have to have no skips, right? We're at the point now where they can't have any skips. So now it's just about which albums are just the better albums now. Because now the list that we're in are, this is the top essential list right here, man. Like, this is a list right here where, as I said, man, no more skips. This whole album got to be great from front to back. Okay? So, next, number 12. Or where are we? Yeah. Let me make sure. Number 11. I'm going to have to go with, let me make sure of that. I'm going to have to go with, for number 11, let's see, we got J. Rue on there, thankfully. All right, J. Rue is on there. I was going to put this one on, but I'm going to save it for later. I'm going to save it for next. Some good ones here. Oh, man. They're putting some weird ones up in here. Above the Law is a good one. But I think they can come a little bit later. Common. That's a close one too, man. That's a close one too. But you know what though? I think I gotta go with this one. I don't know why this one isn't higher. This one should be higher. Especially if this is the one with OPP. Yeah, Naughty by Nature. I mean OPP, but also Hip Hop Hooray is such a classic. Like Hip Hop Hooray is still banging to this day. Let's see. I just want to go through the track list real quick. I mean, yeah, I just was listening to the song the other day and listening to the beat, and it was just like, yo, man, like that shit still bangs today. Yeah, OPP. Great Jackson 5 sample. You know, I got to go back and listen to these albums. I know that they're both classics, but I almost want to say OPP is such a classic song. But I almost want to say that their second album, let me just make sure. I think it might be a little bit better. I think it might be a little bit better. And I'm just saying that what the internet says. The internet looks like it's saying that they agree with what I'm saying. Let me just make sure. Naughty by Nature albums. $1993. Yeah, I think it was this one where it features the anthem, Hip Hop Hooray. Yeah. Uptown Anthem was dope too. You know what we should also be doing too is getting into movie soundtracks. I remember when album soundtracks back then or movie soundtracks were actually good. Yeah, man. This album might have been a little bit better. This album might have been better. Let me just look at the tracks real quick. But then again, like I said, the whole point of this is to say that, like, yo, man, a lot of these albums get overlooked. Like, we don't hear these albums enough. Like, I should pull up old footage of Rhyme and Reason and then rapping. I just want to make sure that I got the right one here. This was another one that was hot. 95, man. Like I said, man, what a year, man. Like I said, man, every album that was dropping in 95 was just like dope. Okay. Yeah. Just to be safe, though, you know what we're going to go ahead and do? Because a lot of people have said this unanimously. Let's see what AI says. Let's see what AI says. And because, you know, it's going to comb what everybody says. Let's just make sure. Because, I mean, Naughty by Nature put out like 3 or 4 good albums, I think. Let's see. See, told you. For most fans and critics, it says right here, the definitive Naughty by Nature album is their 1993 sophomore release, 1993. But their 1995 fourth LP, historically significant as it won its first Grammy Award for Best Rap Album. See, I forgot about that. Naughty by Nature won a Grammy. Okay? So, yeah. 1993, the record solidified the group's elite status with the Hip Hop Hooray. Poverty's Paradise, released in 95, reached number 3 on the Billboard charts and is highly celebrated. Yeah, the Feel Me Flow, feel me on, you know. He was doing that singing, rapping, but something with like Hip Hop Hooray. It made history by securing the first Best Rap Album Grammy. Yeah, so I was right. Sorry, y'all. I had to do a little bit of research on that. I wanted to make sure that we got it right. But, yeah, man. We're coming in with Naughty by Nature in 1993. 1993. Yeah. Naughty by Nature, man. Like I said again, don't hear a lot of people mention these albums. Overlooked Essentials. 10. Down to the 10. I'm not going to say that one. Yeah, that's the Pete Rock one I was thinking about, Soul Survivor. But I think that one can come a little bit later. Yeah, we got to definitely do this one. Not sure why this wasn't higher up on the list. But, yeah, we got to definitely do Beat Nuts, Street Level. Man, what a classic. You see, that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I'm so happy that I'm going through this list. I don't even hear people mention the Beat Nuts, which is crazy. Don't even hear that, man. No skips. No skips on this album for sure, man. Glad that one came out afterwards. All right, here we go. No skips. Greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Getting down to we're like at the top 19 albums of all time, almost getting down to the top 15. Should we come in with that one? Should we come in with it? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Common, Resurrection. Before a lot of people probably really knew about Common, or Common was like still underground. Yeah, Common, Resurrection, definitely one of the greatest rap albums of all time. They call this a cult classic. I don't even know if I can call it a cult classic, man. I think it's just one of the greatest rap albums of all time. Because when you say cult, it just means it particularly goes to a certain group. But nah, man. This is like no skips again, no ID doing some of the best beats of all time. I just remember this album, man. I don't know if he had all the hits on this album, but there's definitely classics on here. The Large Professor remix on this album is like crazy. Yeah, he had I Used to Love Her on a different one, which is like his best song. But right now, we're not talking about best songs. What we're talking about is best album. Yeah, it's on Resurrection. Not sure why it's not coming up on the full list. Let me make sure that it's coming up on the Wikipedia, because I keep seeing them come up, but not on the Google. Yeah, I Used to Love Her, track number 2. Man, are you kidding? Jeez, man. This is like crazy going through these albums, man. All right. What else we got here? What else we got? What else we got? Number 8. I think I could come with a different one. But which one we gonna go with? I want to go back and listen to some of the Cool G Rap albums, because Cool G Rap definitely favorite rapper of all time, one of my favorite rappers, and I think definitely up there. But Cool G Rap, to me, kind of like Big L, who's also really dope. I think he had like great songs and great lyrics, but like as a whole of albums, You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to wonder, like, and yeah, and I see they're definitely making some mistakes here. They kind of switch it off too, like by East Coast and West Coast. I'm not tripping on who's from the East Coast or who's from the West Coast. We're just saying greatest rap albums of all time. Um, I think, and where are we at now? Top 18. I think that we can come in, and I just want to make sure this is right. I think that we can come in with. No, that needs to be a little earlier. That needs to be a little earlier. I'm thinking Most Def. Yeah, I think this one needs to come in here. I'm feeling this one, especially at this number. I'm feeling Most Def. Black on Both Sides. Y'all agree with that? Coming in at 18, man. Black on Both Sides for sure. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Again, remember, like I said here, as I mentioned, no skips. We're talking about no skips here. That's what we're talking about here. No skips. Album has to be classic from beginning to end. 7. Beginning to end, y'all. Here we go. 7. And you know what? And I can't wait. I got some homework to do tomorrow too. I think tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and refresh my memory on a lot of these albums to just go back and say to myself, like, okay, could this album be in the top albums of all time? Could it be up there? But I will say that I think this album is a classic that definitely influenced a lot of people. It needs to be a little higher on the list. So I'm going to go ahead and say Slick Rick. The Adventures of Slick Rick. That definitely needs to be up there. Definitely a classic. And you can buy it on Walmart right now. Definitely a classic, The Adventures of Slick Rick. $16. Remember, this is the top 30 excluding the top 10 greatest rap albums of all time. Again, notice how we haven't even gotten close to saying a Drake or a Kendrick yet. I'm doing the greatest albums of all time, man. Greatest albums of all time for sure. That's what we're doing here, man. We're not playing around, man. We're not playing around. I gotta say, next for a number 16. Now I've heard some of y'all say this. But I think that album can be in the top 50. Notice how we don't even have Eminem yet. And no, like I said, Eminem, dope, but I don't think any of his albums are in the top 10. Even though I know some of y'all have disagreed with me on that. And like I said, I'm just going off of this list that was on the internet and ChatGPT. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any. Let me make sure. You know what? Who we forgot? You know who we forgot, man? Oh, man, there's some classics. There's some classics on here that people be forgetting. I was going to go with Souls of Mischief, but I think they come a little bit later, just like Farside kind of does. They come a little bit later. Like, as a matter of fact, I think I see who I'm going to do. I'm going to replace the Farside. I had them at 29. They come a little bit later, but I know I hear a lot of y'all say this, and I kind of agree. I'm going to go ahead and put Big Pun, Capital Punishment, in place of the Far Side. So yeah, we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go with Big Pun. Capital Punishment. That should be a top 29. Or it may this album actually might be after 30. It might be after 30. Yeah, you know, let's take that back. That album might be after 30, but it's definitely up there. I think this one could go there. This one, Ghostface Iron Man, or even one that gets kind of slept on is Capadonna. But we'll go ahead and just say Ghostface Iron Man. I think it's definitely above the Far Side, and we'll come back to Big Pun later. So yeah, Ghostface Iron Man at number 29. I just wanted to make that little edit, update that. And number 6 or 16, shall I say? I'm gonna go back to, let's see. Yeah, I think it's time for this one because Outkast definitely got a couple on there. We're gonna go, and do we also have Tribe? Yeah, Tribe could come next. We're gonna go with Outkast's Aquemini. Definitely one of the greatest albums of all time. I mean, technically, actually, you know what? I'm gonna have that one come in a little bit later. Technically, Aquemini could be like 13. Like 13 or 12. Yeah, Aquemini needs to be number like 13 at least. So let me make a note of that right there. That one goes right there. So yeah, 16. Let's see. Let's see here. Nah, none of those. Not yet. That's a top 5. We got Snoop Dogg, Dig Gangstar. Not those ones yet. I'm looking like just for those real bangers. You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that are just undeniable. Like we just cannot deny it whatsoever. I feel like there's some that are missing here too. Like let me go ahead and say this. Like I don't even see it, and I know that it's one of my classics. Like I said, I wish I could just go through my old tape collection, because I have like a serious tape collection where I could pull up classics. But let's go through this, which I know a lot of people don't remember, and I'm glad I just remembered them. Boogie Monsters. This has got to be up there, man. No skips whatsoever. Crazy, man. I'm glad that I just remembered this right now. Like this is like nowhere to be found on a list. Nowhere to be found. As a matter of fact, let me see if it was on the honorable mentions. And this was like back in the days when you had to like rap and dance. Highly underrated, man. Highly underrated. What year did they drop? 93. This was the album right here too, man. Such a classic. Ugh. Such a classic. I just don't get it, man. I don't get how. I mean, it's not forgotten, but it's just like, man, are you kidding me? Yeah, this is definitely a top 20, I'd say, on my list. Like, this album had such an impact. While we're at it, let's put another one that we forgot. That's what I'm saying. Like, let me go through my Rap City, BET, you know, Rap City days. The Bush Babies. Remember where? Like, their album was dope. Okay, it's starting to come to me now. I'm starting to remember. I'm starting to remember. Yeah, the Bush Babies definitely should be up there. I think they only dropped a few albums, and the critically praised Gravity. Early appearances from Mos Def, production from Q-Tip and Jay Dilla. So you see what I'm saying? These dudes had Dilla producing for them, as you see right here. And they also have Mos Def on here before he was big. Like, such classics, man. It's like you guys are taking me back now, man. You guys are taking me back to remember these classics. Yeah, I think it was this one. The Bush Babies Ambushed. Four. We gotta come with the crew. The CRU. What y'all know about this? Nothing, huh? Haven't heard too many people rap about this. Yeah, the crew. Coming in at number 14. Are we busting some hits or what, y'all? There was another group too that I wanted to mention, but I think I got it. I think it was the crew. Yeah. Like, man, we're going through some classics right here. This list, I think that I'm making right here is historical, man. All right. And then number 13 is where, and we only got a few more left for this list. Then we'll do the other list tomorrow or later this week. And then number 13, I have Outkast, of course, with Aquemini. Outkast with Aquemini definitely needs to be up on there. And now let's go ahead and go with number 12. This is going to be the ones that are going to really this is like I said, this is before the top 10 list. And I'm happy with these selections, man. I'm happy with these selections. Like, I think that this is really what it's about right here. Like, you can't even really get better than these albums right here. Like, I don't think, like, when I even think of Good Kid, Mad City, it's definitely classic. But when I'm looking at, like, the Boogie Monsters, the Bush Babies, the Crew, all these other cats, can't even do it. And I'll probably mix this order around a little bit, because now that I think about it, the Fugees, the Score definitely needs to go up higher. So I'll probably reorder this list a little bit later, but at least let's get the 30 names up on here that deserve to be in the top 30. And then I'll probably like rearrange and adjust later on, and I'll update that in another video. But for right now, like I said, I just want to get the list up here together. 2, I will go ahead and say, I think it might be 11, but let's just make sure. Yeah, you know what? You know what? It needs to be on there. And there's some albums too that I got to remember where I can't even remember some of those artists. I may have to go back and like look them up and research them. Okay? But yeah. Yeah. Let's see. That could be after 30. It could be after 30. Yeah, I don't even see the Boogie Monsters on here, which is crazy, man. Like I said, man, there's some, like, these albums that I'm naming, I think you really just had to be there at that time. Like, if you, like, there's some albums you're going to hear that people are going to mention that are going to be on the list, but if you just weren't there at that time, you're just really not going to know. All right, I think I got it. Next, we're going to go with Jizza, Liquid Swords. I think I could have this at number 12. This was definitely a classic. And I'm happy to see that at 11, I think I will have Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation. I think that could be up there. Like, yeah, it should be. It should be. So, like, yeah, next we're going to go with Lauryn Hill. And when did Jizza Liquid Swords drop again? 95, man. Telling y'all, man, 95, what a year, man. And the Miseducation was kind of on the cuff of the golden era. But yeah, the Miseducation coming in at number 11. And then I'm glad that I saved this one, easy to know, to remember. We're going to go ahead and go with Black Moon, Into the Stage. Classic album, definitely influenced a bunch of rappers that people forgot about. Yeah, man. Black Moon, Into the Stage, definitely a classic album, definitely top 30. To tell you the truth, this album, low-key, could be top 10, in my personal opinion. The beats, the rhymes, the production, again, the technology, what they were working with at the time, the beat miners, the producers. Buckshot was at the top of his game as a rapper. This came out 93, same year as Wu-Tang. They were on the 5%er stuff, but they didn't sound like Wu-Tang. Classics, man. Classics. So, yeah, man, we could definitely switch a few around, but yeah. So I guess I got the list right there, man. I have the list of the top, well, not the top 30 necessarily, the top 20, excluding the 10 that are the greatest hip hop albums of all time. But these are definitely albums that got overlooked that we have mentioned today. These are definitely the albums that get overlooked. Main Source coming in at 30. Ghostface Killer I have at 29. J. Rue the Damager coming in at number 28. De La Soul coming in at number 27. A Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauders coming in at 26. And I could have put Low End Theory on this list, but I think that album, I'll give you guys a little clue. I think that might be in the top 10. Gangstar, Hard to Earn, coming in at number 25. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style, coming in at number 24. The Roots, Things Fall Apart, coming in at number 23. And we're in the top 25 now, albums of all time, according to the beatGrade list, which I think is the best list out there. 22, Boogie Down Productions. 21, Tupac, Me Against the World. And you know what? We're gonna move that one up. We're gonna move that one up. That one needs to move up. So I'm gonna move that one up. Tupac, Me Against the World. And let me just do the edit while I have you guys right here on the line. I might as well. I'm gonna have that one move up to Boogie Monsters, coming in at number 21. The Fugees, The Score, I'm also going to move that one up. That one needs to replace with the Bush Babies. Those albums were like kind of similar. The Bush Babies and Boogie Monsters, but both great, both ahead of their time, and just both such classic albums. So yeah, the Bush Babies at number 20. See, like I said, I just got to get the names up on there, and then once I got the names on there, then I was gonna reorder the list. And like I said, man, I think the list that we came up with was much better than this list right here. I was gonna say trash. This list wasn't necessarily trash, but it wasn't that great either. Like, come on, To Pimp a Butterfly and and I'll probably put this down in a text too, so some of you guys are able to see it as well. I'll put this in a text link so people can see it. All right, so 22, Boogie Down Productions. 21, Boogie Monsters. 20, The Bush Babies. Ambush. 19, Ice Cube. America's Most Wanted. 18, Black Star. Most Def, Talib Kweli. Definitely. Let's see here. 17, Smith & Wesson, The Shining. EPMD, Strictly Business. 16, Outkast coming in at number 15, Anti-Aliens. Redman, There's a Dark Side coming in at 14. OC, Word Life coming in at 13. Cypress Hill, Self-Titled coming in at 12. We have Naughty by Nature, 1993 coming in at 11. 10, The Beatnuts. Number 9, Common, Resurrection. Number 8, Most Def, Black on Both Sides, or shall we say 18. Number 17, Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Number 16, Tupac, Me Against the World. Number 15, The Fugees. Number 14, The Crew. I think The Crew still belongs right there. Number 13, Outkast, Aquemini. Number 12, Jizza, Liquid Swords. Number 11, Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And we have at the number 10 for this mark, Black Moon, Into the Stage. Yo, can't front on that list, man. And then from there, starting on the next list, we're going to keep going up to make sure that we don't miss any albums. But from there, going up will be the next essential albums that we missed and or that don't really get mentioned. And I think that will be between the numbers of 30 to 50. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. This was a difficult list to get through, but I'm glad that we have the list. And like I said, we're going to do a final edit where when we have these albums in the right order, we're going to put it all together and come with our top 100 hip-hop albums of all time. And I can guarantee you that it will be better than Billboard magazine, better than Rolling Stone, and better than Pitchfork. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, support the channel. Shout out to the members. Shout out to everybody that helps out and that everybody that goes and gets down with what we're doing here. Yeah. All right. We will be back with y'all. I was just seeing what TikTok's saying. TikTok is always tripping on something. All right. Let's go ahead and jump up out of here. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.